This video does contain spoilers for Severance, so I was never really into TV shows as much as I'm into movies. I'm usually many years behind in terms of watching popular TV shows that everyone's talking about. For example, I watched Stranger Things for the first time this past February, and it was a great show. It's one of my favorite shows now. But the point is, I'm like a decade late to watching it. But lately I've been significantly more into watching TV shows than I used to be. The new season of Invincible was great, and I recently finished watching Severance, and I can't stop thinking about Severance. Let's just get the obvious out of the way. The cinematography is fantastic in that show. The opening shot of Season 2 was incredible. It immediately establishes the hectic rush that Mark left his innie in at the end of Season 1. The shot creates a feeling of rushing for answers after Season 1 ended on a cliffhanger. And the blank walls of Lumen and the never-ending labyrinth of hallways just helps to make you feel like you're trapped in this nightmare of a situation, just like Mark. It was a very cool shot and took a lot of skill to pull off, so kudos to cinematographer Jessica Lee Gagne and camera operator Scott McGuire. The lighting was also fantastic, and the scene that I'll point to as an example of that is the choreography and merriment scene in the final episode of Season 2 when the marching band comes out.
Let's go.
That whole scene is a great way to launch into the climax of the season finale. The diegetic music of the marching band creates a great and entertaining level of intensity, as the music that we're hearing in the show is the same music that the characters are hearing in the universe. It escalates the conflict in a way that non-diegetic music just doesn't. The acting is also fantastic. Adam Scott, who portrays Mark in the show, really shows off his acting talent by consistently playing his innie and outie, basically two different characters, but consistently throughout the entire show, and it's just fantastic. Other characters in the show do this too, but not quite to the same extent that Adam Scott does. It's especially impressive when we see Mark switching between innie and outie mode in succession in one scene. There's a scene in the final episode of Season 2 where outie Mark talks to innie Mark using video recordings, and we see this interaction between the two go back and forth quite a bit, and it's some of the best acting I've seen in any TV show. And it's fantastically written. It's emotional, it's intense, it's even a little funny sometimes.
It's the person I'm in love with.
Which you'd know if you'd ever taken an interest in my life.
Before tonight when you need something. She's the person I'll lose if I do what you say, because you know
as well as I do that her outie won't, reintegrate. Assuming that's even real. Assuming every word out of your mouth isn't a lie.
While watching this scene, I really found myself wanting innie Mark to just go along with outie Mark and stop fighting back and just work with him. Follow the plan that outie Mark wants him to do. But innie Mark makes some good points. Innie Mark is different from outie Mark. He has his own memories, his own emotions, his own experiences, his own feelings, his own life. A life that would end if outie Mark simply decides to stop going to work at Lumen. And that got me thinking, what if Severance was real? A severed job where you, as in outie you, go into work, don't know what happens while you're at work, it's just magically 8 hours later, you collected a paycheck and call it a day. Meanwhile, your innie only knows work. He has no idea what's happening in the outside world. He just works, walks to the elevator to exit, and then, as far as he knows, walks back from the elevator back to his desk to work again. At first glance, honestly, it might not sound that bad. You just collect a paycheck. You don't know what's happening at work. You don't experience what's happening at work. And maybe if you don't like working, maybe that's what you want. Maybe sounds like a good gig to you. But then it gets complicated. Your innie now exists. He doesn't know anything about you, as in your outie, despite sharing the same body. The innie develops their own memories and their own personality. And if you quit, they cease to exist. Would that be considered ending a life? I mean, it's your body, sure, but it's a separate personality. That begs the question, what defines an individual life? Obviously, what Lumen is doing in Severance isn't moral. They treat their employees like cogs in a machine, they give them the bare minimum they need to survive, and don't care at all about their well-being or their happiness. Unfortunately, it's eerily similar to what a lot of real-life corporations would want to do. I'm confident that Mark Zuckerberg would love it if Severance was real. Hypothetically, you wouldn't know what's happening to your innie at work, and the corporations would want to keep it that way, but once you do find out, it's inhumane, and that's technically you in there. You should be able to decide that you no longer want to put yourself in that situation, but that situation is all your innie knows. By trying to stop technically yourself from being treated that way, you end the existence of these memories of this personality of someone with their own desires. I'm not surprised Innie Mark argued so hard with Outie Mark, and why Season 2 ended the way it did.
Round like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel.
I hate cliffhangers, but I understand why Innie Mark did what he did. I understand why he wouldn't want to step out of the severed level with Gemma at the end of Season 2, because if he did, Outie Mark would have no reason at all to return to Lumen, and that would be the end of Innie Mark. Even the reintegration process that they talked about would probably just result in Outie Mark getting Innie Mark's memories, but Innie Mark losing that independent agency that he gets when he's inside of Lumen. That's my theory anyway. I wouldn't want to create an innie in the first place, especially after seeing Severance, but even setting Severance aside after thinking about it deeper, I wouldn't want to create an innie. I wouldn't want to get a severed job. What happens to you at work is part of who you are. It's part of what you experience, and what you experience shapes who you are, who you become. By erasing a large chunk of your life, in this case your work life, from your memory, you're missing out on things that shape you. Plus, that won't solve the problems you're facing in your outside of work life. We aren't meant to split ourselves into multiple individuals. Life has its ups and downs, and severing aspects of your life won't stop life from having its peaks and valleys. But if I did have an innie and I learned all the things that the Outies in Severance learned about Lumen, I probably would want to quit, even if it means ending the innie's life. I say that now, but if I actually was in that situation, I really don't know. It probably would feel like ending a life, even if it's a life that uses my same body. So that's why I can't stop thinking about Severance. It was a well-made show with a genius concept and very thought-provoking. So I want to know your thoughts. Would you get a severed job? How would you handle finding out everything and about how your innie is treated? And would you view it as its own life? Comment down below and let me know. And please like and subscribe. It means a lot, and I will see you in the next video.